All right, so I decided to record this because I think there may be other people that are looking for or trying to decide on whether or not it might be profitable or beneficial for them to venture into catfish farm business. Okay, so for me, if you are a person who, it's not just about whether or not you have time, it's also about whether or not you have the temperament to deal with a lot of chaos, a lot of variability, a lot of uncertainty, unexpected developments that are peculiar to a place like Nigeria. And that's really what should influence your decision about which kind of business you go into generally, and especially whether or not you should go into catfish business farming. Now, the first thing I'll tell you is this: the Nigerian society, and I'm talking based on almost 20 years of experience as an entrepreneur, the Nigerian society is a place where you can wake up tomorrow morning and everything you set up yesterday could be more or less down the drain because somebody took a decision that's going to make you incur like a 50 to 100% increase in prices or costs of your operation. That's going to kill your business. There are some decisions. If you look at what's recently happened with petrol, look at the way everything happened. Look at the way somebody took a decision about the resign of Naira and how it just messed up everything. If you were a person in business at that time and you had suppliers that you had paid, imagine what that would have done to them. Suddenly, the money you thought was money is no longer money, and we could not get the new money. And so, if you were doing a business at that time, you needed to spend or buy, everything was just ruined. The only people that found it easy to keep going during this period, and that's why I want to ask you to consider what I'm saying before you make your decision about what business to start. The only people that were able to survive were the people that had skills or that were selling essential products and services. Skilled people like hairstylists, barbers, all those people. You see, human beings cannot do without them. People that are caterers into food production, especially people that are selling food on a daily basis, you cannot do without them. People that are selling food stuff, they call them the everyday money people. They sell rice, beans, gari, all those kinds of things, palm oil, granite oil, all those people selling those basic essential stuff, and of course water. We could not do without them. It didn't matter how the economy went. Even during the coronavirus lockdown, we needed those people. We just had to buy from them. They were able to make money no matter what the situation. And 9 times out of 10, such people always had cash. So we found ourselves going to beg these people for cash. The only other people apart from these groups I've just mentioned now that also survived are those of us that were involved in the digital economy. Those of us that were functioning 99 to 100% providing digital solutions to others. I wasn't affected in any way, at least not negatively. If anything, I got a lot more business. And that's why I tell people all the time that even it doesn't matter what kind of business you're running, you can add the kind of business I do to what you do, but that will come later in another recording. So this particular message here is for you if you are somebody trying to decide whether or not to go into, for instance, catfish farm business, and then you don't know whether it will be worthwhile. I can tell you straight away, because I have clients who are into catfish farm business, it's not a wise thing. This is my personal opinion. And I'm saying it as a person that has watched my clients, provided support to my clients, they use my software. And I'm telling you, the stress, look, you have to build ponds, all right? If you don't build a pond, you're going to rent a pond. You're going to rent a pond for somebody 9 times out of 10 who will not care about you. They just want their money. I know friends in Akute who have a large piece of land that is swampy, that they rent out ponds on, all right? And their own is just that every 3 months they come and collect their money. Because the rental is for 3 months. During a 3-month period, you can produce up to juvenile to there's what you call table size, there's what you call there are different sizes anyway. So the table size, market size fish, okay, there's market size, table size, and from about, depending on the species of the catfish, but generally 3-4 months on, you should be able to get decent sized fish that you can begin to sell. All right, before then you can sell fingerlings, you can sell juvenile. Those are young fish that you're going to sell to other people that are going to grow them. Now you have to decide what level of the business you want to go into. The wahala involved in getting the fish, in spawning the fish. Spawning is reproducing, getting them to reproduce, making them lay eggs, and then fertilizing the eggs and all that. The wahala you will do all that. It's not just going to be something that will happen overnight. You need water, you need right conditions, you need regular water. So you need to have a source of good quality water that is reliable. All right, and if you don't have good quality water, you have to have somebody who's supplying you water as and when you need it. That's all of those things have implications in terms of cost. If you have to have your own place where you have the water, that means you have to have maybe a borehole. If not, you have somebody with tanker bringing water to you at certain intervals. You have to have storage tanks. All of these things you're going to buy with money. Then if you're using a swamp land, like the kind of place I'm talking about, where you have what you call earthen ponds, where the water is coming from underneath the ground, well, that one, at least you don't have to worry about water, and you don't have to worry about kind of maintaining the ponds in terms of cleaning out dirt from the bottom of the ponds. I'm giving you all these details because I want you to understand the ramifications of the work you have to do if you have a physical farm you are running. All right, so you have to get the what we call the brood stock, which is the adult fish, maybe about 3 big female fish that are pregnant with eggs, and 1 or 2 male fish that you're going to strip of sperm and use to fertilize the eggs. When you do all that, you get the eggs, they will hatch, you start raising them. This takes a lot of work. You have to have the food for them at that stage of their growth. When they're tiny catfish fingerlings, they will grow, and they become what you call 2-3-week-old fingerlings. They grow into about 4-week-old. At that point, they become juveniles into 8 weeks. 8 weeks, that's 2 months. From then on, you are looking at the adult fish. You are getting towards market size, blah blah blah, from 0.5 kg to 0.8 kg to 1 kg. And at 1 kg, you want to hit the market and begin to sell. But it's not so easy. Just as you are looking to sell, some other people also have fish they want to sell. That's when you begin to understand that it's not easy to run a farm, because producing is not the problem. Your biggest headache will be finding buyers who are ready to pay you a good price for the cost of your production. Because if it costs you so much, let's say it costs you 10 naira to produce each fish, and somebody is offering you 5 naira, what are you going to do? And they're telling you the next farm is offering it to sell at 5 naira. You are in trouble. So what do? That's where the wahala is. So when you go through all that stress over a period of, let's say, 4 weeks to about 6 months, depending on how far you decide to go before you start trying to sell. After you've done all that wahala, imagine then you have to now start begging people to buy. That is what many catfish farmers go through. I have friends that were producing.
At Gilbert David's farm, Omowa Adeyemi, a graduate of agricultural engineering with interest and passion, runs this fish farming business. It's been 4 years, enough time to learn the ropes of the business.
I'm aquaculturist, so a layman fish farmer, and I've been into this business for the past 4 or 5 years, and this is where we are presently, and we have a place we are going.
Over the years, Nigeria practiced traditional methods of aquaculture in tidal pools, but recently there's been the introduction of cages, otherwise known as ponds. Apart from the earthen ponds known as swamps, ponds are usually either treated wood, concrete, or PVC plastic, ranging from a few hundred liters to several thousand cubics. The popularity of the use of swamps has grown. Adeyemi is one of the few who have mastered its use. This comes with its advantage.
Actually, it's been challenging. I started from up there, where we built a vat, and during the course of rearing those fishes is quite expensive. You know the situation of the country. We face electricity problem in pumping the water. Sometimes in a day I use 7 to 8 hours without light, and you know the cost of running the generator. So I just think and say, well, if I can still be in business with this little I'm doing, let me look for an alternative that is cheaper than what I'm doing. So that was what led me into swamp area.
Every fish farming stage starts from the hatchery.
And you know, hatcher is those who are in charge of hatchery. And hatchery is hatching of eggs under artificial conditions in a poultry or fish for consumption purpose.
To become a fish farmer, basic knowledge of fish farming is needed.
Actually, before you go into fishery, I will employ your advice. You need basic knowledge. You know, it's just like education. The purpose of going to school is to go and seek knowledge on a particular field Likewise, fishery, you need knowledge. You cannot just bring millions and say you want to invest in fish. So you need to know some certain things. For example, if you are going to fishery, you need to understand water management. You know, those are the basic things that you need to know before you go into it.
I have friends that were producing the equivalent of what you would call giant catfish farm. Catfish. I remember that time in 2008, 2009, 2010 at Akute and his family. His dad was almost in tears when I went to them. I had to explain to them that they could begin to target hotels and restaurants to sell their catfish. And these were mighty catfish, but they said people were pricing them anyhow, and I wasn't surprised because they did not understand how to sell. They only understood how to produce, you know. So I do not believe it is wise for anybody right now in this economy of today. If you have limited funds, I don't believe it's wise for you to go and do catfish farm business directly. I think you should build yourself up by doing some other thing first to gain the money, and over time start the catfish farm and grow it if you want to even go into it at all. But I believe you can make a lot more money by going into processing, not just of catfish but any other farm products. I have clients that are into agro processing, so I know what I'm saying. And the stress involved is less, much less, but the profits are much more. The profits to be made are much more. You can make a lot more money with less effort and in less time. Less headache, you know, everything is so much more convenient. And the best part is that those people that are already into the production of catfish can supply you everything you need. So this is my advice. My advice is to go into the business of sales, okay, processing and sales of dried and smoked catfish. I'm sure you've seen dried and smoked catfish. They sell them everywhere, you see them, but you don't know the people that produce them. I have a young man who was a youth copper when he started that business as a youth copper in the East. He's also from the East. And I remember when he came to me, it was 2 years ago. I was even the one that went to him online. And by the time we discussed, I was just looking at what does this business really entail. I found out that the guy had been doing it as a youth copper. Then he had now finished his NYSC and he's launching out fully. And he already had people from Nigeria, okay, Nigerians who are living in different countries like Belgium, the UK, and the US, who were actually buying from him. They met him in Nigeria, and by the time they were going, they packed some of his things and some of his products with them and paid and left. And then from the UK, they were now placing order and asking him to deliver to somebody who will help them to bring it to the UK.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
All right. I just want to ask you a quick question.
All right, sir.
The business of catfish farming, where somebody raises live catfish, compared to the dried and smoked catfish business, if you were to recommend to somebody that says, oh, I don't have much money, I don't have so much time and all that, which one do you think is wiser for the person to go into?
I think you should go for the dry one.
Thank you very much. That's my own opinion.
Yes, you should go for the dry one because that one you don't need so much money. Unlike the other one that you need money to raise them from small to
exactly.
Big stage.
Exactly. Okay, no problem. I just wanted to double check with you. I'm still going to call you back. Is it possible to call you later at night?
Yeah, you can get me at night.
All right, then I'll talk to you later. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Bye.
So for today, I'll be showing you one of the various ways to make money from catfish farming. And one of these ways is catfish smoking. The good thing is that you don't even have to be a catfish farmer for you to be in this business. Okay? Now this is a catfish, a well-dried catfish. As you know, catfish can either be cooked or smoked. And when you cook it, you can use it to prepare your nsala soup, that's white soup, your catfish pepper soup, okay? But when you dry it like this or smoke it, that is preserving it by reducing the moisture content. You can use it to prepare your soups of various type, your onubu, nsala, edikaiko, draw soup or mono, okra, all types. And you agree with me that these soups are consumed on a daily basis, not just in Nigeria, but across and beyond Africa. Okay? So, as you can see, this is a well-dried catfish. Very delicious, very nutritious, packed with healthy fat, protein, and then energy, omega-3, and all forms of nutrients. Okay? How well it moves, how well you are patronized, depends on how well you prepare yours. There are people that does it anyhow they want. They used to do it anyhow they want. And I call those people that want to eat their tomorrow at once. Why? Because the people that will patronize you tomorrow, people that will refer their loved ones, their colleagues to you, will not buy from you if you're not doing it well. If they buy once, they will not patronize you again. But when you're doing it well, even when yours is more pricier than the ones in the market, trust me, they will be calling you. Okay? Now, just this, if you put it in the soup, your soup will catch fire. It will be, trust me, this is one of the major secrets to a well-tasty meal. A well-tasty native meal. Achieved it. Then you have to watch this video to the very end. Alright? Thank you. Now, the first thing is to harvest your catfish. This ones here has already been sorted. As you can see, they are of the same size, and these are the size you want to smoke. Remember, you don't have to feed them 24 hours before harvesting, because they will vomit the food and it will end up being a waste. The feed will most likely not digest. And if you're not a catfish farmer, you're not into catfish farming, you just want to buy from catfish farmers and smoke, ensure you buy the healthy ones that are still alive. If you buy the dead ones, the ones that are no longer good, if you smoke it, it will taste bad and people will not patronize you. So go for the good ones. You should also decide the type you want to dry. Is it the one that you fold into O shape, or the one that you should be cut? If it's the O shape type, then the melon size and the smaller size is the best for it.
If you know anybody that lives abroad, I'm sure you know that they usually love to come home to Nigeria to take some of our food. Most of it dried. They dry it and they take it back. They love it and they're ready to pay for it. So if you can produce something that the people in diaspora want and that people in Nigeria also want, you are in business. And that thing is processed food. Leave the wet live catfish alone. Instead, go and buy those live catfish, kill them, dry them, and begin to sell them. The best part is that you can actually buy nylon, special nylon, buy the machine that is sealing machine. After you dry it, you put it inside nylon, put your label on it, put your name, put your phone number, and put a NAFDAC number. Get NAFDAC accreditation. I have a client that helps people to do NAFDAC accreditation from beginning to the end. She's an expert in it. She has been doing it for over 12 years. You get NAFDAC accreditation for your brand of smoked and dried catfish, and you begin to package it in nylon. You can sell it, supply it to supermarket, supply it to people in their shops in different places. Get your money, you see. And the truth of the matter is that it is the smartest way to make money now. Agro processing is they call it value addition. When you take something that is available in raw form and you now process it to a form that it cannot get spoiled easily. Because when you leave the catfish can die. It will go, if it doesn't have food, it will die. It can grow lean, it can be attacked by a disease, so many things can happen. But the minute you finish producing the catfish and you turn it into dried form, you can store it for a long period of time, and then you can begin to pack it in large quantities and sell. You see, so you don't have to worry yourself about, the fish are in the pond, there's no water. Once the fish are mature, carry everything, kill them, dry them. And it's not just fish, any other animals you are raising. But the point I'm making is that catfish is a very good one because the market is there, people love it, and you can make different kinds of catfish. You know the best part? Even apart from packaging the catfish that is dried and smoked and selling it, you can even begin to produce your own catfish dishes that you can give to people. Some people can begin to do home delivery of specially made catfish, dry catfish stew, that people can buy, pack it into nylon bags and supply to people, into food packs. So the business opportunities that are here the opportunities are so many, but the foundation of it is for you to have the equipment to produce smoked and dried catfish. And what's the equipment you need? You just need a locally fabricated kiln, KILN. That's what it's called. and they are available right here in Lagos. You can buy them. So these are things that you can use easily to dry your catfish. And you know the best part, that they work with either gas or with charcoal, and they have different capacities. There's even some that can do as little as 50 kg for you. So you can start small, and it's a cash flow generating asset, because when you are using it to dry your fish, that's one way. You are saving money to dry your own fish, because you're not going to somebody else to dry it with them, that they will charge you money. Then when you finish drying your own fish, other people that want to dry their own fish or dry any other thing can come to you. You charge them money, they use your machine. You get it? And you make money. So the thing will be making money for you, apart from the money it is helping you to save. And it can be also using it to sell. You can also be selling the products you are drying inside the dryer. Alright, so this is what I believe is a wise way for anybody to proceed. If you are truly interested in starting a business, you want a business that can pay for itself, you want to start something that will be able to sustain, this is the kind of business you do. Dried and smoked catfish business. I think that's what you should go into. There's a write-up I've seen. I think I've seen about 2 write-ups. One on starting catfish business, the other one on starting smoked and dried catfish business. I'm going to send you links to both if you're interested, and you can read up on them. But personally, I would advise you go for the smoked cat and dried catfish business, because it makes more sense. You don't have to worry about there's no light for the freezer to freeze my catfish. It's dried catfish, doesn't need that. You know, it doesn't matter what happens in the economy. Even if you are the one that has a pond and the catfish are inside, if they disturb you too much, you bring all the catfish out, dry all of them, store them, start selling them. You can never go wrong with dried products. That's why you see, even in villages, they dry everything and they can eat, and they are delicious. So that's it. If you have any questions, let me know. Cheers.